a new year brings a fresh batch of video game releases, some of which have not even been revealed. Even though there will undoubtedly be new game announcements in the coming months at occasions like the rumored Xbox Bethesda Conference, Summer Game Fest, and E3 2023, there is already a strong lineup of games confirmed for the coming year. Even if some of these end up in 2024 or are postponed from their original locations, 2023 has the makings of being a great year. Each of the games listed below has a confirmed release date or, at the very least, a confirmed window for 2023. The following video games, listed in date order of release, are the most anticipated ones for 2023. Dead Space Remake. The upcoming Dead Space remake is the first new installment of the franchise in almost 10 years. Dead Space 3 was released back in 2013. With the same plot and a few gameplay tweaks, it appears to be incredibly faithful. Although it's unclear how the inclusion of Isaac's full voice as he was in the first sequel and third sequel will be received, it hasn't stopped the hype train from moving forward at full speed. This change is perhaps the biggest one in the Dead Space remake. Although it hasn't been released yet this year, it ranks highly on many people's personal wish lists for January. Dead Space will be available on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X, starting on January 27, 2023. Hogwarts Legacy. Even though J is at the center of a controversy that will surround the upcoming game, K without a doubt, Rowling, there are a lot of Harry Potter fans who are eagerly anticipating Hogwarts Legacy after years of waiting. For a while, many fans have yearned for a full-fledged RPG set in Hogwarts, and this game claims to be just that. Players assume the role of an odd Hogwarts student entering the 5th year in this historical role-playing game set in the 1890s. The game also allows players to select their Hogwarts house, have friends that represent each of them, and more. The customizable playable character has ties to an old secret, a mysterious forgotten magic, and more. Indeed, anticipation for what could be the final Harry Potter adventure is palpable. Launching on February 10, 2023 for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X, with versions for PS4 and Xbox One following on April 4 and the Switch version following on July 25. Hogwarts Legacy also comes in PS4 and Xbox One versions. Ishin, released on February 21. In February 2014, the original Like a Dragon, Ishin, was released, but it was only available in Japan and never went international. The Like a Dragon franchise has since expanded and thrived globally, and in February 2023, this remake will be released everywhere. This game, in contrast to most others in the series, is set during the late Edo period. In it, players assume the role of Sakamoto Ryoma as they navigate the streets of Kyoto, and enlist in the Shinsengumi as they look for their mentor's killer during a Tosa takeover. Ishin, titled Like a Dragon, will be available for PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X, on February 21, 2023. Jedi Survivor from Star Wars. In Star Wars Jedi Survivor, a sequel to the first game that is set 5 years later, Cal Kestis's journey is continued. The story hasn't been revealed much yet, save for the possibility of the Mantis crew being dispersed. But the gameplay has already proven to be compelling. There are a ton of new additions, including the crossguard lightsaber and the blaster lightsaber combo from Star Wars Jedi Survivor, as well as a ton of new Force abilities and ways to use them. Being only a few months away from release, it is especially thrilling. On March 17, 2023, Star Wars Jedi Survivor will be made available for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X, remake of Resident Evil 4. Capcom has a reputation for producing top-notch remakes, and RE4, one of the most cherished games in the Resident Evil series, fits the bill perfectly. As seen in the Resident Evil 3 remake, fans can anticipate improved connections between the franchise's various parasites and viruses, but there are also many other improvements to look forward to, such as a new control system, new gameplay mechanics, improved graphic and character models, and much more. Launch dates for Resident Evil 4 are March 24, 2023, for PC, PS4, PS5, and Xbox Series X. April 28 brings us Dead Island 2. Dead Island 2's official release date of February 3 finally put an end to the long-standing perception that it would never materialize. Dead Island 2 has, ironically, been delayed to its current April 28 release date as a result of this official re-reveal and announcement. Although it's not certain if this release date will hold, given the lengthy wait for it already, fans should be able to check it out as soon as possible. It is set in a zombie outbreak quarantine in an open-world Los Angeles that is half-jokingly referred to as Hell A. Dead Island 2 will allow players to assume the role of slayers with distinctive skills. So far, only a small number of playable characters, including Jacob, Amy, Ryan, and Danny, have been revealed. On April 28, 2023, Dead Island 2 will be available on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Tears of the Kingdom, The Legend of Zelda. Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, the open-world epic sequel to The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, has been in development for a while. If there are any further delays, it appears that 2023 will be the year of the Nintendo Switch, as fans have kept an eye out for it at every possible Nintendo event. There are now floating islands above Hyrule. Link and Zelda appear to have split up once more, and Malice and Ganondorf may be involved in some strange activity. Before the launch in the first half of next year, fans can anticipate more information. On May 12, 2023, the Nintendo Switch alone will receive The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. The Brainiac-controlled Justice League, which consists of Superman, Batman, The Flash, Green Lantern, and possibly more, is pitted against the Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League by characters like Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark. Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League trailers suggest that Wonder Woman has managed to escape Brainiac's control, but it's unclear what this means for the plot just yet. Additionally, it's a cooperative squad-based game in which, unlike its DC predecessor Gotham Knights, players can switch between characters whenever playing alone. Those characters who aren't under the player's control are AI. Beyond its intriguing premise, compelling story, and engaging gameplay, it is also being developed by Rocksteady, a renowned studio that previously produced the Batman, Arkham games. Launching for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X, on May 26, 2023 is Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. The 2nd of June, Street Fighter VI, the newest installment of the popular fighting game series, Street Fighter VI, features 3 main game modes: World Tour, Fighting Ground, and Battle Hub. Since gameplay is the game's main focus and features like Drive Gauge and Super Combos are demonstrated in its place, the story has, of course, only partially been confirmed. In the upcoming months, more is probably going to come out. 6 of the 18 confirmed characters for Street Fighter VI's debut are brand new to the series as of this writing. The PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X versions of Street Fighter VI will all be available on June 2, 2023. June 6, Diablo 4. Players in Diablo 4 encounter a revived Lilith, whose power increases quickly as compared to the previous game's weak angelic and demonic armies. There are 5 classes available in Diablo 4 for players to choose from: Barbarian, Sorceress, Druid, Rogue, and Necromancer. Over the past few months, various gameplay adjustments, features, and more have been described. Additional details are likely to emerge over the coming months as well. On June 6, 2023, the PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X versions of Diablo 4 will be released. Final Fantasy XVI. In the summer of 2023, Final Fantasy XVI, the series' following mainline installment, is slated for release. A few trailers have teased the game's plot, mystery, gameplay, and other elements as players assume the role of Clive, the apparent leader of the Dark Icon Ifrit, in a decades-long vengeance tale. If all teases and indications are to be believed, there is a war going on in the world over the icons, a blight is spreading throughout the land, and Clive has some sort of dark destiny. It will be interesting to see how everything turns out, but this mature JRPG has captured interest for a while. On June 22, 2023, Final Fantasy XVI will be made available for PlayStation 5. The year 2023, Redfall. There are currently unconfirmed rumors that Redfall will be released in May 2023. Redfall is a supernatural co-op shooter in the vein of Left 4 Dead and Borderlands that is set in the titular Massachusetts town. As they battle vampires, cultists, and other enemies, players take on the roles of either cryptozoologist Devinder Crowsley, telekinetic student Layla Ellison, combat engineer Ramita La Rosa, or supernatural sharpshooter Jacob Boyer. The story hasn't been discussed much up to this point, but gameplay trailers hint at how great the shooter could be. Xbox Series X, and PC users can download Redfall in 2023. The Starfield. In contrast to the fantasy world of Skyrim and the post-apocalyptic setting of Fallout, Starfield is the first significant IP from Bethesda in decades. Players in Starfield are in the settled systems looking for answers to some of life's biggest questions. It is also a period of relative peace since the colony war between the United Colonies and Freestar Collective occurred about 20 years prior. Despite the fact that Bethesda has already shown off a small portion of Starfield's character creation, world and art, characters, planets, and gameplay, all of which were incredibly hype-inducing, much more is most likely still to come. In 2023, Starfield will be available on PC and Xbox Series X. Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Marvel's Spider-Man 2's release window for fall 2023 was recently announced by Insomniac Games, and while that wait may be agonizing, it's exciting to see its release date gradually getting closer. Spider-Man 2 is probably going to be just as good as the last couple of PlayStation games, which means it won't be any worse, since players can assume the roles of Miles Morales and Peter Parker, as well as other antagonists like Venom, Harry Osborn, and Kraven the Hunter. An intriguing story is also being set up. Winter 2023, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. If there are no delays, Final Fantasy fans will not only receive one game in 2019. Next winter will see the release of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the second installment of the franchise's remake project. Although it's unclear how much ground this particular game will cover, especially considering how the first installment turned such a small portion of the base game into a standalone game, fans can anticipate new party members, new abilities for Cloud, and more of everything that made this particular installment of the franchise so great. On the PS5, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will debut in the winter of 2023. Alan Wake 2. After more than 10 years, Alan Wake will finally have a sequel, which many fans have clamored for. This has increased anticipation for the 2023 release of the survival horror game Alan Wake 2. Fans of Remedy Entertainment's games should find this connection to Control and a larger Remedy-connected universe exciting despite the fact that not much is known about it yet. For the PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X, S in 2023, Alan Wake 2 is slated for release. 2023's Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, a game from Software, is scheduled for release in 2023, despite the fact that Elden Ring was only just released earlier this year. While some anticipated it to share characteristics with From Software's well-known Souls games, it has since been established that it stays true to the mecha genre. While there has been more confirmation regarding the story than the gameplay, it will have PvP and a focus on mecha customization. Following a catastrophic event that causes the planet to go up in flames, Rubicon 3 becomes the planet in Armored Core 6. In an effort to seize control of an unidentified resource, Megacorps, Resistance movements, and other entities fight one another on Earth. For PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X, S, Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon will be available in 2023. Assassin's Creed Mirage. The next installment of the Assassin's Creed series, Assassin's Creed Mirage, is an action-adventure game with a focus on stealth, parkour, and assassination, as opposed to the previous installments, which were open-world RPGs. Players will assume the role of a younger Basim, a man plagued by strange dreams and visions who joins the Hidden Ones in search of explanations. Fans will definitely enjoy learning more about Basim, but many of them are also getting sick of the RPG style. The action-adventure genre is certainly worth revisiting because it brings something fresh and exciting to the franchise, but this is only the first step. While AC Hex is marketed as something entirely different from AC Red, which is an open-world RPG, the franchise has a nice and varied future in 2023 and beyond, and a mobile open-world game is also in development. For Luna, PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X, Assassin's Creed Mirage will be available in 2023. Silksong for the Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight. Silksong has long been referred to as the Elden Ring of independent games, if only because fans keep expecting to see it at conventions and shows but it never appears. As a matter of fact, after making an appearance at the Bethesda Xbox conference earlier this year, it hasn't been seen since. But it was confirmed to be a Day 1 Xbox Game Pass title scheduled to release before June 12, 2023, which means it will be available sometime in 2019. Fans should be able to play Hollow Knight, Silksong in the coming months, though delays are not completely unheard of. In 2023, Hollow Knight, Silksong will be available on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Deception of P. Lies of P will be one of many new releases in the Souls-like genre that will be released in 2019. This genre is still expanding. Lies of P stands out due to its general Pinocchio-based premise and the fact that many people compare it to Bloodborne rather than the original Dark Souls series. In it, players must locate Mr. Geppetto in the destroyed city of Krat. But doing so will challenge Pinocchio. To level up using a unique skill system where body parts can be swapped out, he must tell lies to become human, battle in a world with a design reminiscent of the Belle Epoque, complete procedural quests, combine weapons in a variety of ways that are reminiscent of trick weapons. For PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X, S, Lies of P is presently slated for release in 2023. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and support my channel.